So I would like to share with you right now something really cool that I found in an old, as in 1870s. Uh, Actually, yeah, this one is 1870 in May. Yeah, and it's in a magazine, um, like a needlework magazine from the Czech lands, from Bohemia, right? So this was published in Prague in 1870, and yeah, here it is. It's called Bazar. What is the thing say? It says let's look, see if we can zoom in a little. Okay. Modní příloha ku květům. I think květa is, or květina or something, is a different magazine that existed that was like the styles. And I think příloha might mean like instructions for how to like achieve those styles. But I don't know. This is my guess. Okay, so but let's look through this magazine together because it's so interesting. There's so much to unpack here that's just really cool. Okay, so first of all, what we've got here is these ladies, and they're wearing these. What is this? My husband said that this looked just like an Ewok hood to him. I think it's what's called a fanchon. So that's like a French weird fancy hat. And I don't understand what the point of these things are. Like maybe if you got really cold, you could tie them around or not. But I was really excited to find this because I didn't really know how much knitting and crochet was a part of Czech textile culture. It seemed to me that like it wasn't the main deal, and it wasn't like really explored to the extent that it really is in Scandinavian countries and in England and all parts of the UK. So when I found this picture, I was like, oh yeah. Actually, I didn't find it through the picture. I found it through searching for pletení a hačkování. So like we've got, yeah, this thing right here, pletení and hačkování, right? So pletení is like a word for knitting, but I've noticed that it also seems to refer to sprang and other forms of like finger weaving, like loop weaving and stuff like that, which is like very different to me than just straight up knitting. So like I don't really understand, like it seems like pletení is like a bigger term that encompasses more ideas than just two needles and knitting and purling and all kinds of combinations. Um, but yeah, so it's a fanchon, and I love how they Czechified the word. I think in English, or sorry, in French, it would be fanchon. But I don't really know the history of fanchons. They're kind of weird. But anyway, so yeah, but let's look at, like, you can very clearly see the stitches in this. Like that is definitely knitting. Like that just looks like rows and rows and rows of a garter stitch. And yeah, it's kind of cool. What's really cool about this magazine is that like it will show you the pattern, and then it'll have the instructions, like these little areas right here. And they're like typeset in a very beautiful way, which can make it kind of hard to find actually, because like you have to like scroll through all through the pictures to figure it out. But like what the other thing I really like about this is that it shows the front and the back of the work. So this like plastique, so um I don't know what plastique means, but I think it means some kind of like poncho. And this is from the front. And then over here, we've got the back. And yeah, it says on the bottom that like it shows the front and the back. But that can be really useful. And especially in these old historical knitting patterns, like you don't always get images. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about exploring these ones, because they have the images. I really like the faux ermine look. That's really fun. But what's cool about this magazine too is that like they show the finished objects, but then they also have like instructions for how to make them. So like here, right here, it says um, the view from the front, and for this, um, see Yeah, okay, sorry. So this it says the on page 8, figures 18 and 19, that will explain like how to make this. So we go to page 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is page 8. No, I think it's over here. And 18 and 19. Uh, wait, that's not what it was saying. Let's look and see this more closely again. It says, see, okay, for this pattern or for this Vielbrazek, I'm not really sure what that means. See, it's like you're looking for number 16, number 49, and number 50. So number 16 might be somewhere on this page, because we can see like 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 12, 14. Oh, this is number 16. Okay, great. So then you need 49 and 50, and those are over here. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a little bit confusing to navigate through this magazine, but it does have all the information, so that's really useful. This right here is this thing called Platinina Ramtse, which uh, or Ramtse, I'm not sure, but like basically it's a knitting loom, and you use it like this. It's fascinating. I don't know. I've got to try it, but I'll have to like find the directions somewhere around here and get them translated and figured out. Looks like they, it's unlike a knitting loom where you knit and then like it creates the continual fabric like through the center. It's like the size of the loom, and that's it. Um, so I'm a little confused about how. Oh, yeah. So basically, you'd have to get a knitting loom that's in the exact same size as the thing you wanted to weave. And that seems like a lot of work, but also you could totally just make it with materials that are on hand. Like, this is not an impossible task. And it looks like um, the way it works is there's like a certain way that you loop it around the edges, and then you also like stretch it across, and it's like in a woven thing, and then you work the center, and it shows you how, and it's kind of confusing, but it's right here. Yeah, so basically it looks like you're taking a needle and you're kind of like just making knots and sewing those things together. It ends up looking really beautiful with a really neat texture. So I think it'd be worth it to try, but I didn't want to start with something this complicated and challenging. I wanted to start with a different project that like I want to knit all these things, and actually it turns out that a lot of them aren't just knitting. Like obviously this is not knitting. This is like weaving slash needlework, like slash maybe it's related to spraying a little bit in some way because it's like tying, but not really because you're looping the needle. So I don't know what this is called. It's just so weird. And I love it, but I wanted to start with something a little bit simpler. Um, so yeah, as I was going through the magazine, I looked and I found this page. So yeah, first of all, I really, we already saw some of this. Like, I love her hair. Like, wow, that's so cool. And her necklace, I would totally, or not necklace, her earring, I would totally wear that earring. Um, but yeah, I was looking around like, okay, here's these little punchoshki, which is like a little slipper, but this one's for a little child that's like 3 to 5 years old. Like, and I don't know if I could. I mean, I could probably wear this. Well, I definitely could wear this sweater right here. That looks great. But I wanted to do something that was small. Like sweaters are a big time investment and a lot of work, and so I wanted to find a project that was smaller and easier. So I thought maybe this thing at first, this they're calling it a shawl, but like what are, like that's not really a shawl to me. Like it's anyway, but it also looks like it's pretty big. And so I was like, maybe not that one. So I just kept looking through the book trying to find something, and eventually we'll be coming back to this page for sure, but eventually I found this right here, this little tiny thing right here, which is a neckerchief-cravat-thingy. So pletení a háčkování. So, and for this pattern, see number 25. I've been looking at this for a long time, so I understand number 25. But yeah, nakrychnik is like it translated to cravat in Google Translate, but this isn't really a cravat. This is more like a neck ornament or a little, I don't like, I guess cravat is a good word for it, but it's for children. And so I thought, okay, this is rather small. I can probably do this like relatively quickly. So yeah, so then I tried to find number 25, found number 25 back here, and look at these instructions. And as you look at it, it just looks just like a caterpillar going up and down. Like, and I just found that to be so interesting. So I tried to do it, and as I did it, like I did it without reading the instructions first, trying to just copy what this pattern was, because what it looked like to me was a row of purl, row of knit, purl, and then you stick your crochet hook in the loops, and then you just do like Tunisian crochet stitch or slip stitch all the way down, and that's what I thought it was, but it turned out that I was wrong. That is not what this thing is. First of all, it isn't knit, purl. It's just knit all the way through. It's a garter stitch, but every other row you have to create these loops. And creating the loops is really mind-bendingly hard. Just looking at this picture, I couldn't figure it out. But reading the instructions, then I finally did figure it out, and I'll share those videos also in this playlist so you can see me doing it and working it up. First, I'll show you how I figured out the working up the loops, like the knitting part. Then I'll show you the crochet part, which the crochet part is super satisfying and fun. I can't wait to get through all the knitting so that I can just do the crochet and go through. I think the hardest part for the crochet is getting the loops in the right place. But basically what you need to do is you knit one row. Well, I started with like 3 rows just so that I could have like a little edge. And then, because you can kind of see they did that too. And actually in this image, I thought it was knit, purl, but those are just the garter stitch like stretched out. Like the artist on this did a really good job of depicting this. So I can zoom in a little bit closer. You can see even in more detail right here. So this little area right here, that's just the stitch work between the garter stitches. So what you do is you have 2 rows of garter stitch well, you have your garter stitches, you have your knit rows. Then you have to use a crochet hook, and you wrap the crochet hook and the right knitting needle 4 times, twice around both, and then once around just the crochet hook, and you pull the crochet hook through all the way to the back, then you create this loop, and then you have to knit, and then you have to like basically, I don't know what the term is in knitting, I'm forgetting what it is, but so it's like when you're casting off, like you take it's not just one stitch, but it's like a giant clump of knots almost. It's like 3 that are overlapping and twisted, and you take that and you pull it up over the stitch that you just made. And so then basically you have this row of like really neat, interesting texture on the one side, and then on the other side there's like 7 loops, because there's 7 stitches here. And then what the loops are pretty large, and so when you will pull them up through the like around the stem of the stitch, like right here's the stitch. So like you'd pull this loop right here, you'd pull one side up here and then one side up here, and then you'd stick your crochet hook in just like it's going right here. So there's really this thing right here is just one loop, which I think is why they're drawing it kind of like these are a little bit close together. Yeah, and then you just go through and do that fun little loop, 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 and make the caterpillars. So yeah, when I figured out how to do this, I felt really satisfied because it is a weird thing with a combination of knitting and crochet, which I've never seen before. I don't know what this is called. I mean, the pattern, it is like a fringe that is um, a knit and crocheted fringe. Like, that's not really a name for a technique, and there's got to be a name. In the instructions, it definitely refers to Tunisian crochet, and it kind of assumes that the reader is going to know how to do that. And like, I've never done Tunisian crochet and I figured it out, so I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good assumption. But I have done crochet before, and I have like seen YouTubers do Tunisian crochet, so but it makes me wonder, like, to what extent is Tunisian crochet a part of the Czech fiber arts world? And like, I mean, I guess the Czech lands are a little bit closer to Tunisia than, like, I don't know anything about the history of Tunisian crochet, but it's not really that much closer. Like, Tunisia's like North Africa, isn't it? Like, it's far, and the Czech world is not Eastern. It is like literally the center of Europe, and like culturally, it's way more similar to the West in a lot of ways. So yeah, this is just fascinating. There's also so yeah, you can go and see my adventures in this Okolek Pletení Hatkování in number 25, and I will put the pattern on Ravelry and instructions because it's pretty cool. So, but don't hold your breath; it might be a while. I'll just go quickly through some of these other pages because they're just interesting. It seems like okay, so it seems like this one right here, they're using that like uh that technique of like um pletení na rámci, schotovena na rámci. So I think that means like prepared on a frame. So I don't know if it's really knitting or what, but like to me those look like tiny little cathedral windows. It's a really cool stitch and I like it. I would never ever wear it with this weird fluffy thing on the top though. Um, and then over here we've got another thing, but I think this is mostly just sewing with this interesting fringe. And then oh, and it says it's made of cashmere. Oh, fancy. So then, yeah, we've got here, like, it seems like the Czech patterns, oh, careful, don't choke yourself to death. But it seems like a lot of these patterns, they really like the embroidery work, which is one of the fiber arts I'm not very good at yet. So here we've got another one, and I thought this was pretty interesting, but like, this loopy thing is kind of weird. And then I realized that it's according to number 52. So number 52, where is lovely 52? I think that is back over here. Wow, that was number 25. Maybe it's back over here. Oh yeah, it's showing it right here. So I don't really know how to do this, but it shows that there's like some other instructions, maybe 30 and 34. No, maybe 52. You just have to find the instructions. Yeah, it's probably right here, starting right here. And then it continues on to this next page. Oh, I just clicked on the thing. Okay, here we go. Like over here. Yeah. In pictures number 52 and 53. Uh it's just such funny formatting. Um it gives you instructions for how to do it, and I'm guessing it's going to be pretty similar to how you make this thing. I really love these gloves. One thing, oh, by the way, that this fringe right here on the edge is the same as this right here. It's kind of an interesting design. Um, Notice how the glove part is all knit, but then the cuff part is all crocheted. So they seem to really enjoy mixing knitting and crochet. Look at this amazing sweater. Like, that's just so gorgeous. I wonder if it comes out like that only because of blocking or what. Like, that's just amazing. Um, And then I would love to make this, but I didn't want to start this project again because it was like, this is an underskirt petticoat, and it looks pretty simple, but like it's just knitting, with some garter stitches here, but then you've also got, like a really simple crocheted edge, and it's just a petticoat. And this is helpful because it's pretty cold in the Czech world in the winter, so probably this would have kept people especially warm, women especially warm, especially because it was probably made of wool, so it was nice fiber that was breathable but also warm and right up against the skin. But yeah, this isn't really something that you would see very prominently displayed like in the traditional Czech garments. Like knitting isn't really like a, this is really like a utilitarian object here, and not like one that they would wear like a Fair Isle sweater that's, like being showed, like showing off your color work and everything. This is an undergarment. So yeah, just really quick, let's look at the couple of these last ones. This is so funny, like the ermine, I don't know, but it's, you know, faux royalty, and it's just so funny to me. It looks hilarious. Although I wonder if it was real because I don't see how you would knit that. Hmm. I don't know. Maybe there's some instruction somewhere else. Um, And yeah, I really like this underskirt as well, but I'm not 12 years old, so you know, but I also really, really love this shawl. I think this shawl is gorgeous. My Czech great grandma was a crocheter, and this edge right here just reminds me so much of the kinds of stuff that she would make and that I have in my possession because they're so cool and special. And I even like the back of this one. Like that's really nice. In contrast, there's this one, and I'm just like the front's fine and cute and nice. And I think it's actually a double knit kind of thing because those are not holes. Those are another part of the stitch. But like, what is this thing? Like, I can't understand what is this. Like, that looks so bizarre. It almost looks like a snood, but like no, it's not. Like I don't get it. Like that is enough to kind of turn me off from that pattern, but I'm gonna try it and eventually maybe. Um, Hmm. So yeah, then at the very end we've got, yeah, we already saw these, the ermine, we saw these, we saw this, we saw these crazy hat weird things. I don't, what is this? Like this kind of reminds me of like a Spanish style or something. Like it is kind of interesting. That's the right word. Um, oh, maybe this is instructions for, no, this is something else. I don't know what this is. That's so bizarre. Um, yeah. Anyway, at the very, very end of this magazine, you get all the patterns so you can take them and scale them up, and you have the correct shape. And it's really a little bit hard on the head to see the patterns overlaid all like that, but I guess they're just trying to be efficient. So then here's the final page, and it's kind of cool. You can see like where the embroidery would go. I don't know how you'd, logically go about doing this. I guess what you'd have to do is take some tracing, because there's no way that this thing is big enough. I guess you'd take tracing paper and you would trace the shape, and then you'd scale it up somehow. I don't know how they would do this in the 1870s. Like it'd be kind of interesting to figure that out, but for now, I'm gonna really focus on the simplest thing in the whole magazine. Where is it? Where is it? We'll find it. It is here, the smallest, simplest thing, and it's already taken me hours to try to figure it. But I think when I finally do, I'll be really satisfied because this is not a pattern that I've ever seen anywhere else, and um, I think it's really important for us to remember and preserve textile knowledge because first of all, it's art, and so it's a part of culture, and it's part of our global knowledge and understanding of how the world worked. But also, like, as I've been doing this, I've been thinking about like the inventor of this technique. Like, how did they stumble across this idea? And the engineering behind it is pretty clever, because like if you want to create loops on the back side of a project, you have to figure out a way to keep those loops in place without unraveling. And they did, and they used all like the tools available. They actually didn't use a crochet hook for that. They used a little wire, but I found the crochet hook to be a billion times easier. Um, so I I also think about like how charmed I was when I saw how much it looked like a caterpillar in this image over here. Could be, I think it's here. Yeah. Like that's just like a very funny motif. Like it's kind of almost like Tudor-esque, but it's also just funny and like charming, and the texture is like really pleasant. And it makes me think about like how this might relate to, you know, since this little neckerchief thing is made for children, like whoever was engineering this, it was probably, well, it could have been a man or a woman, but the women were doing a lot of these fiber arts this time. Although men were doing a lot of weaving there at this time. But actually, weaving was a little bit on the decline at this by then, because Civil War, and the cotton production in the U.S. was like driving the European markets out of business. But this, like, if the, if there was a woman who was sitting there trying to creatively engineer something new and interesting that her child would really enjoy, and like something different, but also like not garbage, like something that's repeatable, and something that is fun and novel and cool looking. um like, what does that say about Czech culture, that like someone would have done that? Like that to me, what that shows is like ingenuity and a love of innovation and exploration. And of course, I feel like that's a integral part of Czech culture, but like seeing it and experiencing it in a very like specific way, like kind of gives one pause and makes it more real, and makes it more um well, tangible, literally. Anyway, so hopefully we can explore more of these amazing magazines together, because they're just so cool. And I don't know if I would ever really be caught dead in some of these garments, but making them is a lot of the joy. And I am so happy that like a few of these magazines still exist and they're available online, and that I can read them, and through the help of Google Translate, and through my own knowledge of Czech, and through reaching out to people online too, like I can learn how to actually make something. The images are, they really they a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I'm just really impressed by whoever took the time and patience to draw all of these individual stitches in such great accuracy that you could feasibly um, base most of your design um, on the image, instead of relying on the text. Although I have to say, the text itself was way better than similar historical knitting patterns that I've seen in English, where you're deciphering like a row of non-words, and there's no standardization for explaining what um, what the um, what the symbols, or like what the strings mean, like. And if you lose the key, which is sometimes located at the beginning of the book, like, and you can't find it, then yeah, you're too bad. You're not gonna be able to figure it out. Whereas here, the instructions seem to be written out much more plainly in sentences and not as like some code that you have to decipher. It doesn't seem to very often give a gauge, so that can be tricky. But since it says who the thing is for, and since it has a picture, and since the picture's so detailed that it includes like individual stitches, then that can help you to estimate a gauge more than just these like walls of text that have no images and you're just making a mystery pattern basically and hoping that you get it right. Unless somebody who's great on Ravelry has already made it and you can, see what they've done. And um, like that's the beauty of the internet, is that we can share our knowledge, and that's the whole point of why I'm sharing this with you. Anyway, I'll link the exact issue of Bazar uh, for you in the description so you can browse it. And I'm hoping that I can find other like-minded people who want to knit this together, create this stuff together, or not, whatever. Mostly, I'm just so happy to have found something Czech to knit. Like I didn't really think that was going to happen. So, and not only knit but crochet. Woohoo!